Igi ni Madonna, imagine you.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to today's edition of International Forum. I am Wilson Omasha, reaching you live from ITV Lagos Network Center. Well, today it's all about what is happening globally, moving down to what is really going on between the US and Denmark. That brings to mind the issue of Greenland, where Donald Trump said, look, by hook or crook, anyhow you want to do it, America needs that Greenland. We want to buy it off you. Remember what happened to Alaska some years ago, where Russia sold Alaska to the US. Maybe they don't know the importance of Alaska, but right now the Danish, they know the importance of Greenland. They're saying, no, that land belongs to them, and they don't want to sell, all right? But now Donald Trump is like using every means possible. Tariff, lobbying, how will I put it now? You just name it. You just want Greenland. He said he needs it. But if he doesn't grab it right now, Russia or China will just get hold of it and need to build what is called the Golden Dome. Can you imagine that? Anyway, what does this do, or what will it do to the relationship between EU, America, NATO, America, because there is a case of friend trying to bleed friend. Is it going to work out? With me here in the studio to talk about this, he is the CEO, Editor-in-Chief, the industry newspaper. I'd like to welcome Godi Ofose. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence this afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to be here.
All right, thank you so much.
How green is the Greenland?
How green is the Greenland? Now that is a question we're deliberating on. You just hold on. Let's get to meet other guests joining us virtually. I'd like to start off with, Honorable Ehi Igariba. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your presence, sir.
Good afternoon, Wilson, and good afternoon, viewers. Thanks for having me.
All right. And of course, we have also Honorable Frank Amego, lecturer, Uniben. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, first, able to reestablish contact with Frank Amego. Definitely you're going to hear his own point of view in this particular discussion. How green is Greenland? Theme of this discussion, Godi Ofose. How green is Greenland really? Let us really start off from there. How green is Greenland?
I think the so-called superpowers are just trying to flex muscles in a very undiplomatic manner. Greenland has been there for a long time, and if you read the history of that mountain island, you understand that several presidents of the US have been trying to take over Greenland, in a very diplomatic manner. Yeah. Albeit Trump's new venture. We've seen how Russia is trying to, took over Crimea. He felt he was successful, so he moved on to want to take over some part of Ukraine. We have also seen what China is doing with Taiwan.
Yeah.
And today we have seen what Trump, and in a very uncharacteristic manner, where the US usually do not go that route, we have seen what Trump is doing. So the question, how green is Greenland? It's a very strategic piece of land. Don't forget, about 3 other major countries are surrounded Greenland. Therefore, you have a Denmark that the Greenland administration seems to be in bed with. Then you have US, you have Russia. Now, according to history, Greenland is a strategic place for US to launch whatever they want militarily, all right? Launch whatever they want to do. The Greenland is also blessed with a lot of natural resources. It's not as if US do not also have these natural resources, but because of its strategic locations to the Europe, where it could always, it's very difficult. That's why Russia refused Ukraine to be a part of NATO.
Yeah.
And these superpowers always look for allies who they can always use as a station to launch out. So Greenland is very important to US. It's also very important to Denmark.
All right.
And as it were, the European Union do not want that kind of closeness with the US.
Okay, I will come back to you. Now let's get to hear from Honorable Ehi Egariba. How green is Greenland, and how come President Donald Trump is so keen in acquiring Greenland, whether forcefully, whether through tariff, any means? He's even bringing in the Nobel Peace Prize issue to this particular table. I don't get it. Over to you, Honorable.
Thank you once again for having me, Wilson. In international politics, just like in local politics, one of the most basic definition about politics is it's a circle of conflict and conflict resolution. It's been always since time immemorial from one conflict to another, amongst global players. Then we localize it amongst local players, perhaps in the various countries that we reside or we are from. However, while looking at the Greenland issue, a lot of people can see it from diverse points of view. But for me, I will be clearly siding with Donald Trump and the United States on this one for obvious reasons. Like my co-discussant has just mentioned, Greenland is of strategic importance to the United States as it is to maybe Denmark. Greenland is, culturally linked to Europe, but it is a part of North America where the United States is. And it is critical at this point to the next phase of American defense strategy, especially when you take into cognizance the Golden Dome defense mechanism that has been put in place. Europe presently have a population of about 450 million. Yes. United States approximately 350 million. But do you know the biggest threat to Europe is a population, Russian population of 150 million. It's a huge threat to people of 450 million in population. They are just not able to stand up to the Russians. And so they do need America to have a smaller population to defend them against Russia. Just look at what is at play in Ukraine. But for the United States, Russia would have overrun Ukraine. But for the United States, in terms of all the weaponry they provided, in terms of all the strategic military information sharing that are fostered, even from the Starlink that was provided by a U.S. company that restored internet connectivity to Ukraine, which enabled it to use its drones, to counter Russians' attack. So at the end of the day, Donald Trump is saying, look, this land is there, but it's not going to be there forever. Russia, like they did in Ukraine, may just one day make a move for it. Or China may even just do the same. And if they do, you guys in Europe cannot defend that territory. It's a given. Talk is cheap. But if they were to spring a surprise attack on Greenland and try to get that territory for themselves. And the European countries just cannot defend it. And that will be jeopardizing US security, national security. And so I believe the president is being proactive. A lot of people are reactive now, but he's looking way ahead. He's looking at the options that are on the ground. He's looking at the preparations that the Chinese have done in terms of how they have upgraded their military strength, how they have strategically positioned themselves around territories that are close to Europe. And it looks at the Russia, yes, right now they look depleted because they've expended a lot of resources in Ukraine, but they can rebuild and pose a threat within in the nearest within the next couple of years if they were to get out of the war in Ukraine, if peace was achieved there. But the European leaders, they are always, in my opinion, with all due respect to them, being politically correct all of the time. They like to be reactive instead of being proactive. So I think on this one, President Trump is right. He's looking way ahead, and he's trying to prevent Russia or China from getting there before the United States does.
All right, I'll come back to you, Honorable Garba. Let's get to hear from Honorable Frank Amigo. If you are there, do you agree to the comment of Honorable Garba saying that is in support of the U.S.? After all, there is a China and, of course, a Russia that might be having that notion at the back of their mind, knowing fully well that Europe cannot stand against the power, so to speak, of these two nations. So Trump should come in. Do you agree to that particular assertion?
Yes, I want to escalate what Honorable Igareva said, because Greenland is not a new land. It didn't just come up this January. Greenland has been existing for centuries, and it has a population of about 56,000 people, and is very, very close to Germany. In as much as Denmark is not agreeing to US coming in, even the leaders, some leaders of Greenland are also accepting it. But in the long run, it's for the good of Greenland and for the betterment of the whole of EU. Why am I saying this? It's obvious that Greenland might be hijacked by Russia, China, or some other persons that want to work against NATO. So for the US President Donald Trump to take this proactive nature goes to show that there is no smoke without fire. That's why I earlier said that Greenland is not a newly found place. So now say, why is US now interested in it? So to the extent, if you listen to Donald Trump, he said, if they are not allowed to occupy that place, that he might use military force to ensure that US base is there. Because if US does not come up there, the calamities that might befall the whole of Europe and by extension the US, it might be so much that they will regret it. So I'm of the opinion that they should align with Donald Trump's perspective of occupying that place, that's the US occupying that place, because it's not a new place, but they have some information at their disposal that maybe some other countries that are not NATO members that want to come and dwell there. And we know the meaning of that. It's just like what happened between Russia and Ukraine. Russia, up to now, wouldn't want US to be there. That's the NATO to be there in Ukraine, because it spells doom for the whole of Russia. So that's something that is playing out now, that before any person will want to occupy the Greenland, the US is saying they will want to occupy it. And if we are not allowed, they might use its military might to do that. So we shouldn't wait for the second phase of it to embark on a military force to do that. I'm sure they should reason with Donald Trump. More so Denmark, Germany, they are NATO states that make up, they are NATO countries that make up that made up the NATO. So they should allow Donald Trump to have his way because of what he would have seen. He has not disclosed whatever thing he has seen that might come up maybe much later, if not even now. So I want to align with the perspective of Donald Trump that they should allow America occupy that Greenland.
So much, Honorable Frank Amigo. Well, Godi, you heard their opinions. They're saying that, look, it's better for America to come in because Europe don't have, excuse me, what it takes to stand up against the likes of China and, of course, Russia. But the Danish Greenlanders, they're saying, no, this is our land, no matter what. Please take it off from there.
I want to, in a way, disagree with my friends from Benin who says that the European countries should agree to Donald Trump forceful takeover. I mean, that's why we all criticize Russia for what they are doing in Ukraine. So if we allowed Donald Trump to take over Greenland, and Donald Trump wants to, having taken over Greenland, also express interest in taking over Denmark, we should allow him do that? No. I mean, there is international diplomacies that allow the country to choose its geopolitical alignment. Why don't we? Where is the place of referendum? Where is the place where people, independently express where they want to belong to? Here in Nigeria, no part of this country can just think that they can secede just like that. So I feel that when the superpower, the so-called superpower, begin to behave the way they are behaving, they are calling for crisis in the future. Now you are beginning to bring in conspiracy theories, and in the theory that says that, oh, if I don't take it over to the China or Russia are planning to do that, why don't you give Denmark support? Since it is a member of the NATO, all right, to protect Greenland. Why don't you give them the support? Why don't you also, why would you also want to forcefully take people who say, I don't want to come to your side. I want to stay here. So where is the international diplomacy in all of this? So I feel that Nigeria is a big brother in Africa. So tomorrow we could express that some people are speaking Yoruba in Benin Republic.
World, they are kicking seriously against the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Despite the fact that Russia said it's because of security concern, that's the reason why they don't want Ukraine to be part of NATO. Now, taking a look at the sanction threatened, how will I put it now, the sanction threat, so to speak, 10% tariff on trade deal against any country that supports the Greenlanders' protest against Donald Trump taking over Greenland. Come on, is that not tyrannical?
Okay, thank you very much once again, Wilson. I would just like to quickly react to what my co-discussant just said. He advocated for the United States to perhaps support um, Denmark in the event of any aggression against Greenland. And Denmark, of course, if they are unable to defend, the United States should put their maybe military assets and finances on the line to support another sovereign country, which is supporting what I earlier said, that Europe constitutes of about a population of 450 million people. They come together as EU, they come, most of them are in NATO, and they cannot always depend on the United States that have about 350 million people, to defend them. Because Ukraine is a part of Europe. When Russia attacked, and since Russia attacked till now, it has cost the United States about $175 billion of American taxpayers' money to support and defend Ukraine. The United States cannot continue to do that. And they have a lesser population. We have domestic challenges in the United States that they want to take care of. They cannot continue to take American taxpayers' money to defend another territory overseas or for another country. So give me ownership of the territory and I will defend it myself, which also helps your own national security. It only makes common sense. For instance,
Come in. If I should come in right now, you're talking about give it to me. It's not force. They are saying no.
Okay, let me correct that.
Is Trump a tyrant?
Yes, he said that on the table. The offer is to buy it. This is not the first time the United States is making a proactive move because they have enormous, credible, and pinpoint intelligence on several things a lot of people don't know. Perhaps the United Nations, the European Union is not even aware. Imagine that as far back as 1867, the United States already bought Alaska, right? A land filled with vast minerals. They already did their investigation from Russia. Russia at the time did not know what was underneath the soil of Alaska, and they sold to the United States. Alaska is a state in the U.S. today. At a time when you had the French.
All right, now, see, for $1 billion US dollars, Russia sold Alaska to the U.S. And until today, Russia has regretted that move. Now, do you want Denmark and the Greenlanders to regret the move?
Russia is reactive. The United States was proactive. They saw the future. They saw that they could not have a common border with Russia. That would be of great national security implication for the United States. So they moved ahead. They were at least 100 years ahead of the Russians in terms of intelligence and knowing what was coming ahead. This was way before you had a Cold War and everything. But they already saw that there would be a threat from that angle. And so they lured them and bought Alaska off them, which is like a buffer between the United States today and Russia. Assuming Alaska was a part of Russia today, that would have exposed the United States to grave security threats from the Russians. So they saw ahead. Ditto what we have in Greenland today. And what the United States president did was very symbolic because the countries in Europe, played the first game. They went and put some troops. While this conversation was ongoing, they chose, instead of de-escalating, they chose to put some symbolic troops in Greenland to coincide with Donald Trump's statement. You have countries like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and all of them, Germany, United Kingdom, all sending troops. Very minimal in number. Some of them sent contingents of about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the, but it was symbolic, which shows they were poised for a kind of confrontation, And so for that reason, he's saying, for preempting the U.S., we are going to respond, not with force, but we are going to use tariffs as a pushback to you putting your soldiers on the soil of Greenland.
All right. I'll come back to you because right now I really want to dwell on the last point that you made. On Frank Amigo, Donald Trump, is he reacting or is he seeing the future? Because Greenlanders, they don't want to make the same mistake Russia made in the past by letting go Alaska for $1 billion US. Now the Greenlanders, they've seen the importance of the land. They're saying no. For it to come support its own, you are slamming them with sanction. Is that not a kind of a trait of a dictator, of a tyrant? Talking about President Donald Trump.
Yes, there's no tyranny there, except we want to lead in this whole discussion with emotions and all that. You know it, Wilson, and all the discussants, that there came a time in growing up in our various traditional homes that a mother will ask a child to go and take his bath. And each time the child refused, the mother will forcefully hold on to the child, give the child the right bath, and the child will not be okay. So what Donald Trump is seeing, standing, a lot of persons on the mountaintop don't have a glimpse of what the President Donald Trump is saying. And let's put on proper perspective. The truth is, Greenland is not a sovereign state. Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory. And going by that nomenclature, anybody can go there and invade it. So it's not like Russia, Ukraine, or China, Taiwan. These are sovereign nations.
Oh, hold on. I think I want to come in here. Greenland is not autonomous. They have their own government. They have this connection with Denmark. They are part of Denmark. That's how they run their government. They are not just orphans, for crying out loud. And they have the right to the land. You know what? You just hold on. I will come back to you who want to go for a break. When we return, we will continue with this discussion. Don't go away.
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Bully, we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
And if you just joined us, this is International Forum, reaching you live from our Lagos Network Center. Now, for those of you asking questions whether Greenland is a country or not a country, now let me just put the record straight. Now, Greenland is an autonomous country within the Kingdom of Denmark, meaning it has significant self-governance over internal affairs. But Denmark handles defense and foreign policy, making it self-ruling nation, not fully independent though. It has the right to pursue full independence. Geographically part of North America, Greenland is politically linked to Europe through its relationship with Denmark, operating within own government and, of course, parliament. That means they have the right of their own to sell or not to sell. Honorable Frank, please anchor the point you were raising before we went on that break so we can hear the opinions of, Godi here with us in the studio. So go ahead, please.
What you read out now,
Yes.
the summary of what you read out is Greenland is semi-autonomous. It's a record like that. It's semi-autonomous. You did read that it was not yet independent. So it's semi-autonomous. So that semi-autonomous nature, anybody can drive in. So Donald Trump is very proactive. We should give him that credit. He's proactive that whatever thing they are afraid of now, either Greenland or Denmark, let not be that what they are afraid of will still be before them. So the proactive nature of Donald Trump should be commended. Because if they were truly independent, maybe like ITV, if they were truly independent or truly sovereign, that would be a discussion for another day. But now that they are semi-autonomous, Donald Trump is proactive to know and to take action. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has not launched out any military attack on them. He only said that the worst scenario could be an attack using his military force. But he hasn't done so. You cannot pass judgment on intentions. He hasn't done anything. But he is being strategic. He's being proactive to know that if we don't do these things now, the future will become bleak. So to avoid all of this, let people of Greenland, of Denmark, generally EU, have understanding. Let the U.S. presence be there. If the U.S. presence is there, it will prevent other invasions that will try to create a problem for, in particular, Greenland or Denmark, and by extension, the whole of Europe. So I'm of the opinion that the people of Greenland and Denmark should gladly accept the proposal, as it were now, of the U.S. to have a base there. Once that becomes so, there is no country like Russia or China that want to go there and occupy it. So for the good and for the betterment of U.S., for Europe, and for NATO, they should gladly allow it. How would they feel if China comes now to Greenland, which is not a NATO member? How would they feel if Russia comes there? So they to forestall future challenges. The proactive nature of Donald Trump now should be commended.
All
Nobody
right.
is taking
All right.
100% from Greenland automatically. It's just their presence. U.S. wants its presence to be there in Greenland. That's just
Okay.
it. And to allow them.
All right. I'll come back to you, Honorable Frank Amigo. Well, Godi, you heard
Yes.
them. They are saying that what Donald Trump did or is about to do is a step in the right direction. After all, he said something, he has not done it yet. He's just threatening them that is going to impose 10% tariff, if possible, is going to take it by force, and all that. But looking at the comment and the Greenlanders' reaction to this, I don't think that Donald Trump's action is not that different if peradventure it make it a reality from what Russia is doing to Ukraine.
But Trump has said all the things he's want to do, and if you follow Trump from his second coming, you know that Trump hasn't made any statement without the intention of carrying them out. You know, you see Venezuela, you've seen Cuba, you've seen other countries like that. You've seen the tariff. The tariff started like a whisper.
True.
All right, but he has carried it out. My concern is that President Donald Trump eagerness to take over Greenland is laced with a lot of suspicion. He has linked it to a lot of things. The peace,
Nobel
Peace Prize, why the Denmark refused, did not give it to him. And the Prime Minister of that country has taken time to explain to him that the Nobel Peace Prize does not come from Denmark government. And he's been very, very bitter since then. I love him. I like the way Trump, in his first time, how he used to manage his idiosyncrasies. But this time around, it looks like he's getting out of hand. It's a threat. My own is that I feel that there is a country that has the same status like Greenland as Faroe Island in France.
True.
We also have a country like that, Puerto Rico, has the same status in the U.S.
In the U.S.
So when people begin to see this, other superpower begin to make intentions to take over this place, how will it all go well with the rest of the world? So I feel that Trump can want any piece of land anywhere. But there must be a proper way of going about it. And we are not here talking about Alaska in 18-something. We didn't hear that they went, the president then was imposing tariffs,
or sanctions, or threats.
Threat of militarization. So we didn't get that. So mine is that I think if we can sit down there, condemn what Russia is doing to Ukraine, condemn the China influence in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and the rest of those islands in the Tibet.
Yeah.
So we should unanimously come to the table and say, sir, we are not telling you. Please, there is a normal way of doing these things. Allow people choose where they want to belong. U.S., the gentleman said, U.S. just want to have their presence. U.S. have presence in any country they want to have presence in. In fact, as long as you have your embassy or your mission in another country, your presence is felt. So if you want to have your presence, nobody's stopping you from having presence. Please, the threat of taking over a certain people who have right to choose where they want to belong, reserve with them. So I feel that in a way, the Trump is trying to upset the apple cart. In a way that at the end of the day, the entire world, the Russians are watching. There are also smaller islands around Russia.
Around Russia.
There are also smaller islands around China. They are watching. If this succeeds, they will carry on there. So nobody will be able to stand up to them tomorrow and say, what you are doing is wrong. And don't forget, Trump just have about less than 3 years to be the president. So it shouldn't end up creating more problem for the person who's going to come in and replace him.
Interesting. All right, Honorable Yeyariba, you've heard what Gode opined. He is like saying that other big nations today are watching. After all, you have the likes of Tibet still fighting for independence against China. You have Taiwan. You have Ukraine. You have the dispute in the Great China Sea. Lots and lots of dispute there because of the fear of China. And if you take a look at the U.S., Denmark, Greenland, they are in NATO, in EU, so to speak, begging your pardon. And right now, they are all speaking against this move by Donald Trump. How do you feel, or how do you think this will affect their relationship?
Thank you very much. Just let me take from the last comment you just made. if China or Russia or any of the countries that pose this existential threat to Greenland were to attack Greenland today, unfortunately, NATO cannot defend Greenland because as part of the NATO parts, Greenland is not even a part of Europe, and so they are not included in the NATO part, and so they do not qualify for NATO defense. However, let me even take this a step further. Why I believe, and very strongly so, that President Trump is being proactive, is basing his actions on intelligence that he may not, or the Americans may not be able to reveal to the rest of the world, but instead to see ahead. You know, Greenland have vast resources. And the fact is, in terms of rare earth that have rare earth deposits in the world, there is no European country there. It's basically like I think China, Brazil, India, Australia, and maybe Vietnam. And rare earth is the future of the world. That's what you're going to do with your green energy. The electric vehicles depend mainly on rare earth. If you even go to defense, the missile guidance system, all this, when you say radar invisibility and the nuclear submarines and all the satellites, all of them, the production are based on rare earths. And China have most of the world deposits. And a lot of those rare earth deposits are also in Greenland. America is not going to let Greenland fall into the hands of China because some people want to be politically correct. They are going to always protect their national security and base their intelligence on projections of what could happen in 50 years' time, what could happen in 100 years' time. America is not going to play that big brother again, like we saw my co-discussant had mentioned issues of Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria is a country, unfortunately, that have not been able to defend.
All right, now, you were talking about rare earth. Can you just go there, strike a deal with Greenland? Must you purchase the land?
No. America is not going to strike a deal with Greenland. Instead, they are offering to buy. America bought, France is a part of this conversation, right?
Yeah.
America bought a land that is almost as large as Greenland from France.
But right now, Denmark don't want to sell. Greenland don't want to sell.
Today, wait a minute. America did not start purchasing from France itself. America bought Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, from France. It was a French territory. They bought Alaska from Russia. So now they are offering, we want to buy this territory.
And they are saying, no, what's the big deal? We don't want to sell.
They haven't said no. The conversation is ongoing. They haven't said no. People are
Hold on. They had a massive protest today, yesterday, 2 days ago, and the protest has been ongoing. Look at it there. They said Greenland is for Greenlanders. We don't want to sell. It is not for sale. You could see them there. Look at the placard there.
I can tell you for free, Wilson. A lot of people you see protest based on emotions. Most of them have limited information. They protest based on emotions. You don't base national security on emotion. You base national security on clear intelligence. So it's not a matter of people urging them to go on the streets. How many are there? 50. Comfortable where they are until China come knocking on the door, until Russia come knocking on the door. Can 56,000 people defend against China or Russia's invasion? They cannot. Can Denmark defend them against China or Russia invasion? They cannot. Can the EU defend them against Russia and China invasion? They cannot. So it's not about emotions. It's about strategic thinking and clear-cut intelligence.
Okay.
And futuristic planning.
I'll come back to you. Hold on, Godi. I'm the one asking the question.
Okay.
Just hold on. I'll come back to Honorable. Well, let's get to Honorable Frank Amego. Well, Honorable Egi is saying, look, because of strategic nature of Greenland, the threats of Russia and China, they really have to sell. But they are saying Greenland belongs to Greenlanders. Can an outsider force you to sell your own land? Or say your own family land? If you want to take a look at Nigeria right now, as an example, for crying out loud, they don't want it. They are protesting. After all, US have this pact with NATO. They have this pact with EU. Can they extend the same pact of protection towards Greenland rather than forcefully using every means possible to shake off any form of opposition just to purchase that land? Is that not land grabbing, for short?
Far from it, Wilson. It is a matter of commerce. It's a matter of security. To say the American government is after their land is to underrate the essence of the whole process. What America is talking about is security, not land grabbing. America is too big for that. If they could buy Alaska from Russia and buy a part of the land of France, if they want to buy any land, they can buy. So it's not a matter of...
Sorry for cutting in. Do you feel that Russia, as of today, would hold Alaska to the US if they knew what would transpire in the future? Do you feel that they would have sold Alaska to the US? You know the answer already. Do you feel that France would have sold their whole portion also to the US?
You are reversing the whole process now.
I'm not reversing. I'm just asking a very, a very easy question.
Wilson is the moderator here now.
And I'm asking the question, would they sell this time if Alaska hasn't been sold before to the US for $1 billion US?
We can't answer that question. Just like asking Wilson, what if you were a woman? There's no need for that question. They have sold Alaska, they have sold Alaska. So the point is, America is basing their points on security, 100%. The people that came out now for some days in Greenland, they are not far from some Nigerians. You just give them some money and they just come out and be protesting. If you watch the video clearly, you saw a lot of the protesters gisting. I was about to try to check the placards if they ever were placed. Some persons would have instigated that protest and showing them the page that you are saying now that is for commerce. They want to grab our land. And from that perspective, the people of Greenland will rise up against America in any sense. So they should tell the people of Greenland the truth. That would you want to have the land and be under threat of China or Russia? If they turn the page to the right page and tell them that the reason why America wants to come to Greenland is for security reasons, not to grab land. American land, have they used it? It's not land they are looking for. They just want to have this.
Hold on, Honorable. I'll also come to you, Godi. Now, since Russia sold Alaska to the US, have you seen a Russian step foot on Alaska? What if peradventure, through hook or crook, you sell the land to the US? What happens to the people? Remember, I say it's the Golden Dome. That's America taking over. What then happens to them?
Nothing bad will happen to them. If they decide to sell their land, nothing happens.
Where would they go?
We are used to migration.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Not speaking from now.
Okay, I will.
America will be angry that Honorable Egareva bought a house in the US. That matter shouldn't come up. We are talking about security here.
Okay.
And it's just like in Nigeria, a government of the day can say, we want to take over 1, 2, 3 plots of land. And the land belongs to the community. If the government says it's for security reasons, they will allow. Or they want to construct a new road. Would it be dragging that the government should not have access to the land that the government is saying they want to construct a new road? So this is for security. By extension, the world security that American government is trying to establish. Because I still hold on to the proactive nature of Donald Trump.
Okay.
Because nobody understands what he's saying.
All right.
Until they're not going to say, we wished. So
okay. You've made your point. Well, Godi, you've heard both of them. They're still insisting upon asking this question. Security reasons. It was typical of security reasons that Russia invaded Ukraine. See, security reasons that Taiwan, China is saying Taiwan belongs to them. Security reasons. Security reason also Hong Kong cannot belong to any other person other than China. Security reason. Is that a good enough reason?
It's not a good enough reason. Like I said, it's bad leadership. All right? This guys, I keep saying it, these big guys exist for the smaller guys to coexist with them. The reason why we have UN, the reason why we have EU, the reason why we have NATO is to protect the weak ones. You cannot protect the weaker ones by trying to take them over. Allow them. Every country cannot have equal powers, military-wise, commerce-wise, whatever factor that you want to put it. So the NATO was formed after the World War II that, look, we can't allow the people with super powers to victimize
the smaller nations.
The smaller ones. So if by protecting the smaller ones you want to swallow them, then you are not protecting them. You are not giving them the opportunity to speak. Anybody can wake up tomorrow. Up to today, is Ukraine a threat to Russia? Obviously not. Ukraine has been there. In fact, what make Russia did what they did to Ukraine now is because it was easy for them to acquire Crimea. And people look at them and think, it was just Crimea. That is how dictatorship begins. You see what Donald Trump has done to an independent sovereign nation of Venezuela. You go, he didn't come to your country and you seize him. You went to his own country and you took him. So when we begin to give this leadership, this kind of leaders, the opportunity to get away with things like this, they are going to do more, the ones that are more heinous than what we are seeing today. You may just wait tomorrow, somebody will come to Nigeria and say, we want to take your president away. It has happened somewhere. Nobody is crying. Nobody is talking. Today, the Venezuela president is in the prison in the U.S. He's facing a U.S. court, not his own country court.
Not an international criminal court either.
Not international criminal court.
All right,
so
now,
at the end of the day, Wilson Place, at the end of the day, when we are beginning to fan the ember of dictators like this, they are beginning to see, because they are always, all these guys, Hitler had a reason why he embarked on that war.
Yeah.
And that war, he has never told us this. He told you he has a reason. So every dictator has a reason why they are who they are. Please, we should come together and say this thing the way it is. The world is becoming civilized. We shouldn't have leaders who behave like we are still in primitive time.
So can one deduce that Trump and Putin would not have a clear cut and characteristics of these two?
Three of them, and the Chinese president, they are all behaving the same. And the world is an endangered species with these three people in power.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. We're pressed for time right now. Honorable, you have 30 seconds to conclude your points. I mean, should Donald Trump go ahead by any means possible or necessary to grab Greenland in 30 seconds?
He must go ahead and get Greenland, and I believe he will get Greenland. The reason why Russia struck in Ukraine was to be proactive, because they knew that Ukraine was about to join the EU. And if they join the EU, that was going to be a direct threat to Russian national security.
Thank you.
The United States need Greenland, and the United States will get Greenland.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Higariba. Well, Honorable Frank Amego, what's your final take? Oh, there. Oh, there. Well, technical issues. Okay. Goda, you have the last line on this.
All right.
Take 30 seconds.
Please, let the world return to a place where the big and the small can coexist.
The big and the small can coexist. Well, 10% tariff already almost in play if they refuse to play ball forcefully, amicably. Whatever means Donald Trump is still gunning for Greenland and means massive protest. EU, NATO, they are talking tough. It is going to be an escalation negatively between friends. Remember, they have these interests. It's going to annul all relationship between the US, NATO, US, EU. Only time would definitely tell. See you same time next week Tuesday, God willing. Bye for now.
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said. So
that's...
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Soto rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortal Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good day and welcome to WIC, Women in Conversation. This is where we talk about women, everything, love, everything. When I say love, not the other way love. We also talk about the other way love, but we talk about Christ's love, you know, how Christ has asked us to love one another, you know. And then this is where women come to open up whatever they think is bothering them. And I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels. I usually don't do this alone. I have Chisom Agbafo. Chisom Agbafo is a legal practitioner. Chisom.
Hi, Patricia. Nice meeting you.
Your sunshade is saying it all. And we have a new face in the house. Oh, yes. We have Mercy Onwonode Igwe. She is a founder and executive director of Heavens for the Hopeless Foundation, HHF. Yeah. Mercy, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me open the card again and let you know who Mercy is. Mercy is a police officer. You try me, we get you arrested.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Wow. And then, of course, we have Abiodun Dejonwo. She is the CEO, Abigail Cut. Abiodun, you're welcome.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you for joining us. Of course, I know your schedule is tight, but you made sure you joined us. on this special episode. Thank you for coming. Anyway, so let's go down the drain. Let's, enjoy today. We're going to be having so much fun today, so much to talk about, so much. In fact, there's a topic that we just picked right here and now. And there's a reason why we picked that topic. We might let you know the reason and we might not let you know the reason. But let's go to the first topic we have today. We're going to be talking about the girl child and the boy child. A writer once said, his name is Joseph Brendan, my dad was advising a man that was complaining about his wife not giving birth to a boy child because the man said, how will his name survive? And my dad said something that made me go crazy with my goals. He said, if you want your name to live and not die, make a name for yourself. Your kids cannot keep your name alive. If you want your name to survive, give your name life by doing things that people will talk about when you are dead. And he used the example of talking about Nnamdi Azikiwe. Let me come back home. I don't want to call the international names. He talked about Nnamdi Azikiwe. He said, who remembers his children, but his name is still ringing bell. So let me ask questions here. What is your take on a girl and a boy child? These men that complain, oh, I want a male child, and then, some of them go outside wedlock to, try to get a male child. What's your take on that, Chisom?
Okay, well, first of all, let me just sort of balance well because the issue of a boy child, girl child is an unending discussion, debate in Africa. Let me say Africa, because they place a lot of emphasis on or a lot of pressure on giving birth to a male child. Africa is more or less centered on patriarchy, everything they are doing, and then they use the Bible to justify it and say, the Bible, somebody was telling me, Jesus was so reasonable for calling 12 men. Why did he do that? So why didn't he, at least put one female there and all of that? That's why you know that the world is run. It's a man's world, right? And so because of that impression, every other person thinks that, a female gender is a weaker sex or lesser than the men. But, I thank God for what it is today because the world has changed. We have women who are making good money. We have women in... I don't think there's a space where you can say this is for only men. Women have already saturated the whole field, and that is amazing. So it's more or less on the quality of investment, right? You're investing in a child, regardless of if it's a boy or if it's a girl, and then that's your investment. The output, you're seeing it that this lady is making a lot of impact in this space and all of that. So the moment they start, doing this stigmatization, it must be a male child. For what? To keep the name? I was even telling somebody on Twitter, I made a post, a very controversial viral post that I got a lot of threats, and because I said, let's normalize women not changing their names when you get married. And a lot of people say, oh, you're a feminist, you're saying this thing, because there's no law that says a woman should change her name and all of that. So just because of that sense of, I should carry his name, I should carry his name. There are women out there who have their name alone in rooms, has made a lot of impact for a lot of people. So people should stop, creating that stigma and all of that on the male child is better than the female child. It's a child, whether boy or girl, they can make an impact anywhere. So that's what I take.
Chisom. I don't think the other people have words to say because you almost, putting everything together. But let me go to you, Mercy. Okay, my mom once said to my younger sister, who has 2 girls, and she looked at her and said, you don't know how blessed and lucky you are. So I was like, why? And she said, a girl child, one girl child is like 10 male children. I don't know how true that is. Is that true?
So let me start with the fact that I thank you for starting the whole conversation, because the truth there, when it comes to the boy child and the girl child, over time I've seen that when we talk about the value, you now say, okay, this is better than this. It means you have a value, you have something you are placing on one that you feel this one is much more better than it. And by the time I look at all the things, in all the indices that our parents, our fathers, our mothers are putting in place to judge if the boy child is better than the girl child, I look at all of those indices and I bring it to play as at now. They are nothing to write on. Okay, talk about a male child saying, okay, a male child is better than the girl child because he feels he can continue the name of the family. Haven't you seen male children who wants to continue the names of the family, and the parents are like, please don't mention my name out there. Please don't
give me one reason
why. Don't mention that you belong to this family because I don't want issue. At some point, because these are things we see every day. I have seen male children who, at the long run, you'll be like, no, it would have been better we didn't have a male child. And I'm not saying it's not happening with the females too. But what we are saying now is that the issue here should not be who is better than who. Then what we should be looking at is that, okay, how can we make these children, either boy or a girl, empower them with the needed knowledge that they need to be able to become all of the blessings, all of the needed gifts that we need in our time and generation. So that should be the conversation, not that a boy is better than a girl child. I know all of these things are from the place of how will I put it? Let's say societal norms, where we are beginning to feel, oh, because this is the way it has been from. But I think with time now things are changing. Please, let's even look at it as at now. You are beginning to see women rising to frontiers where it has been said it's only the male, the only men can do this. See women rising to those spaces and they are doing, gallantly well. And that is beginning to fault the perspective our foreparents were having about the female gender. So things has changed over time. So when you talk about the fact that your mother said one girl child is better than, okay, over time it has been reviewed that when it comes to their old age, parents during their old age, they need attention, they need care, and that is innate when it comes to the female child.
I was talking to a male yesterday, a very matured man, who told me, I was amazed because of his position. He just said to me, I need to stop by in my hometown. I said, what are you going to do? I need to go see my mom. He said it like a baby. So I was like, you say?
It's enough for him.
He said, yes, in my busy schedule, things are tight, but I need to find a time to go see my mom. So I was like, okay, bring her in since, he said, no, I don't want to inconvenience her. I want to go see my mom. So we have some men who are as good as a female child. Sure. But Abiodun, over the time, men, pardon me if I will use a particular region in the country, the Igbos would always tell you they want a male child. Yes. Some of them don't even want to train their female child to school. They would rather train their male child to school. And the reason they will tell you is because she'll be married away, but the male child remains in the house. What's your take on this, Abiodun?
As you've all said, the thing is, to me, every child is important, and there should be, in this day and age, we shouldn't be differentiating. You want a son, you want a female child, because to me it boils down to, the Bible says, train up a child in the way you ought to go, and when it grows, you will not depart. So it's how you train that child.
It doesn't have to be female or male.
Because I hear people say that, there's a billionaire, he said, you want a female child. And I said, why? He said that because when he grows old, the female will look after him, because he said he never went to had time for his own mother, or so it's all different. You just said now that this was a male. It depends how they were trained, and also their personality. Some people might have been born with certain, but when you train them that this is the way, this is the good way to do things, and some men cook very well. Very well.
Yeah. My son does. My son does.
They cook very well. So to me, it's not about what you deposit, what you train a child, that it will come. But this topic about the tradition, Igbo tradition, I know is still active today. And this is because they want, even I had a friend recently that her mother passed away, but before, when her father passed away, everything was for the son. And even the thing that was supposed to be, so I was like, they still have this strong tradition. So, but, I think it's going to take education, it's going to take just you know, to make sure that
yeah.
you know, women and male, they're the same, you know, because it causes a lot of issues, because there's sibling rivalries right now. Because sometimes you see the female that's the one that helped the mother that did this, and then the male will now come. I just hear so many things that when the dad died, they threw the female child out of the house, you know, things like that. So I think, you know, there needs to be a deep discussion and counseling with this tradition to try to stop. It's not just about, oh, you just want a child, your male child, to carry your name. You know, legacy. A female, they can do the same, but, you know, be fair. There should be fairness. There should be, you should find a way where it's not going to cause sibling rivalries, it's not going to cause issues on ground. So, to me, you know, and, you know, nowadays, you know, even female, they have combined surnames. So female too can carry on with your name if you want, if that's so pleased.
So important.
You know, then you get Johnson, Talabi, you know, Semikini.
Johnson, Talabi.
I just for example, do you understand? So I'm just saying there are ways around it to go around that issue. So to me, it's
but I think there's a bit of things are beginning to evolve recently because take for instance, I want to say for those that are learned amongst them, they are beginning to balance it to some extent. Take for instance, my late father started a company which is Evosec, which is the offshoot of what I'm doing presently, and I happen to be the first daughter, the first child, and my immediate younger brother is there. So for him, before we lost him, he had already put in the directors in the. You know, we have the directors and all of that. I'm part of the directors, regardless of the fact that, you know, whether and funny enough, when we lost him at a time that we never even, you know, normally we never even expected he was going to go at that particular point in time. And we needed to keep running the legacy. And because I watched and I looked at a legacy that a man has built all the days of his life, and I'm like, am I going to watch this die? I took it up over my mind. That was what brought me into the police force.
Wow.
That was what brought me into the police force. So the thing there is for parents who are still in the dark, still feeling that, oh, my male child is the only one that can carry on with my legacy, I think is a level of knowledge they are exposed to. So over time, some persons are beginning to get that exposure, and they are, you know, it's a bit flexible.
Okay, so let me remind you, we're still in WIC, Women in Conversation. And like I said, we have a police in the house. If you look for our trouble, it's all over for you. It's all over for you. So we're still talking on the girl child and the boy child. Chisom.
Yeah, so, you know, there's when Abiodun talked about, you know, female inheritance, property inheritance. You know, as a lawyer, I've dealt with so many will arrangements and all of that, letter of administration and will reading and all those things. And I found out that 90% of this will, the sharing of the property, you'll be hearing my 2-story building goes to my 3rd son, 4th son, and then there was one that he only gave the daughter just a room. I think the house had, you know what, this face me and face you house. He gave her just a room. And, you know, as a lawyer and this confidentiality thing, I can't put in my emotional opinion.
Okay, Chisom, I'm going to cut you short there because we're going to be going on a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. This is WIC Women in Conversation, and I still have Chisom in the house, Mercy and Abiodun. It's good you're staying tuned to understand the legal aspect of the boy child and the girl child. Chisom was talking about the legal aspect, but before you go on, I'm going to bring in a special family, which I think they're having this legal tussle over their father's death, and it's the Access Bank man, if you remember, you know, I think they're fighting the daughter because she's a girl. I'm sure if the first son was still alive, they won't be having this fight. So what's your take on that?
Okay, like I was saying, you know, so it's recently, this will is recent, 2025, and it's still happening, you know. They gave the lady just a room, like I was saying. He shared property, and he is an extended family. So there are a lot of sons. It's a typical Igbo family. So lots of sons, few daughters. So it's expected. So just the only daughter they had, he just gave her a room. And then I just made a comment like, oh, I was just talking with the wife that, oh, your daughter, just a room and all that. So she said that there's an impression in the home that any lady if you're a female from that family, automatically the reason why they don't give you property is because you end up giving it to your husband. And I was trying to understand how that makes sense. You know, they feel whatever is given to you, your husband has to take it. So there's still a patriarchal, strong system holding that family. So no matter what a female child does, your success is attached to your husband. So meaning the property would still, the name of the property will still die. So instead, they just give her maybe a room to sell. And let it just be that she's not part of the whole. I even made a post about that, and a lot of people were talking about their own experience in their own family, what they end up getting, and all of that. So the issue of the Access Bank own is the same thing. When there's a will and they find out that, oh, either they give, even giving to the wife is an issue. Yes, sir. The wife of the man who has struggled with this man, they end up giving her nothing. They give to maybe the children, the male children who are there. And it makes no difference. I mean, if you give it to a male or you give it to a female, how do this child manage the property? I mean, it doesn't, it's even, I think I prefer the Yoruba culture in that aspect. They don't place emphasis on a child. Yes, a child is a child. A child is a blessing to them, unlike the Igbo system. So it affects, you know, legal acquisition of property in a home and all of that. But you need to give your child something, your female child. You need to acknowledge her presence in the home. Yes, she also deserves the same quality of inheritance that you are giving the male children. And I think that, you know, what is, because we are all talking about, oh, this now is different, and I figured out that what is actually making the change is the orientation of the female child, not the society. Not the society. Because the whole society still sees men as, just the way you're a police officer. I think we have a military officer in my family. So I think the first time they were like, oh, we have a military officer, my dad was just saying, we have a military. And she's a female. It's a female. So everybody will just say, he. Oh, I want to know, I want to meet him. Where is he? Yeah. And so my dad was like, I know, she's a woman. And so they're like, So all those, you know, there are women who are submissive to the patriarchy, like those older, much Igbo women. So they're like, is she married? Will she be able to, you know, they were not even trying to know her competence. Wow, this is, you know, so that's a problem. So it's we, the women, your mindset, if you can change it, like you who is a police officer, for you to even have that courage to stand and say, this is who I am. Because a lot of people will look at you and say, oh no, who asked you to join this thing? Why did you do this? And all of that. So if we women can change our mindset, if you're training a female child, let her know that, okay, the world is a man's world. So you need to be courageous in anything you're doing. And it happens everywhere. I think even my auntie was complaining at one point that the daughter got a lead role for, you know, this school play that they do. So they ended up giving the lead role to a guy. But the girl could play that role better. So that is the issue. From that, starting from the scratch, she has already seen that. Okay, this is because I'm a girl. Because I'm a girl, and I have to do this. And so that's the issue. We should train children in a way that they know that you are also, you deserve whatever position you want to be. Property acquisition, even the wife. You know, if you, that's why I said I prefer the Yoruba culture. If you're in a room where they are reading the will and it's a Yoruba family, and the mother is hearing, oh, this person is too, and it's not maybe equal. The way the woman has a voice, they would, no, what do you mean? What do you mean? But then the reverse is the case in the Igbo culture. The woman will just be quiet, just like, you know, because you don't talk where the umunas are there. And you're talking. Who are you to talk? Don't you have sit down, you're just a wife. Exactly. So that's the thing. Yes. So we need to change that. We women, we need to change the orientation. Chisom is advising us as a legal practitioner. We need to change that mindset. But anyway, let me take it to the aspect of polygamy. Okay, so when a rich man or a man has many wives, and you know, so maybe one of the wives has all boys, another one has all girls, and he passes on. Property has to be shared. All the properties goes to the boys.
You know, this thing, this whole thing we are talking about, it's so sensitive that, because these are the reality of, you know, in our time, that you see some women at the end of their life, towards the end of their life, they feel so bitter. They feel they've wasted so much of their time. And, you know, in terms of being alive for themselves, they are already dying inside because of some certain things, or all of these particular issues that we are mentioning. I've seen women who feel less of themselves because they have all females. You know, even their potential, their ability to be able to give back or do some certain things are being withdrawn from them because they have all females. So my question now is the gender a female? Are we the one, as a female, are you the one dictating the gender that comes out of you at the long run? I think we need to ask this men these questions. because because the question here is, you are not the one dictating the gender. The man in question is the one.
Is the one.
Medically,
biologically.
Yes. It's not the why. So why make a problem? Why make an issue out of all this? So I feel the men too needs to be educated, like we rightly mentioned. We are empowering our women to understand that yes, having female children is never at disadvantage. It is a gift from God. It's a gift from God, and as such, you must empower them, regardless of what the society is throwing at to the female. Empower them, let them know they can be all that God have designed them to be, regardless of their gender. So I feel the point here now is that as we are empowering the women, we also need to educate the men. Let them know that it is not the women are not the dictators. You drop it. Oh God. You put the pain there. It's like you are very I have seen a lot of women. No, see, there was a case that happened recently. A man left his wife, a woman with 4 girls.
Oh wow.
All because
she couldn't give him
a meal. And you left her and went outside for another woman.
The problem is they feel entitled. That's
it.
There's this sense of bragging, entitlement, because you're a male child and all of that.
So that is the point. I think the lot of trainings we've been having, and that is where I was trying to, I was trying to mention something, that the way it's going now, we are having more empowered women.
Yes.
And the men, we are leaving them gradually, kind of. So, but I think we need to create a balance.
WIC is actually trying to create that balance with this, put up together. This conversation we usually have for women. This is where women talk about everything. Abby, now, Edith probably will be in our next program tomorrow. But then, she said something one of our programs. She said one of the episodes. She said when they have a male child, they throw powder around.
I remember,
and they're excited that they have a male child. And some of these male children are the ones in the motor park, the Agberos that 4 teeth. I think those were the right words she used. That 4 teeth would have gone up from their mouth. What if the male child happens to be that kind of person? What do you think the family should do at this time? Should still, will everything to that child or to the female child that is coming after the male child?
Okay, now, what I know now, wise people, family are making the will before they pass on. So you can assess situations. Like I speak to a lot of older people, and there's this particular lady, she's selling all her properties. Yeah, and these are properties where...
Pardon me, I needed to laugh.
Now, that our father passed on, and the father made it into a trust where the legacy goes on. But now, as you know, in Nigeria, there's a way around it somehow. But and I asked, I said, I thought you can't sell this. She said that if she doesn't sell it, that our children will fight, that there will be trouble. So she has to sell it and share everything before she goes. So to me, and then you know your child. If you have a child that's a drug addict, you're not going to will. I mean, if while you're alive, you put things in place where that maybe there will be a trustee that will be guiding that child with some money allowance and everything, so that it doesn't just blow it. And then again, you just when you're saying that, you need to, for I know in our culture, we share is equally. There's nothing like first son or second son. Although we give bit of preference, to the first son. Some family, it depends. They will more to the to the son because maybe they're taking over the company. I think you assess each child. Each child has a gift, has a potential. You see where each one sits.
Yeah.
Like, for example, now see the Queen of England. She did a fantastic job for how many years? She's one of the best. So when so I think it's education that you just put all you can into every child. Do your best.
Okay, let's quickly have the last question before time, because I've just been told that our time is almost up. Okay, let me go to the legal aspect of when all the children and, I don't want to use the negative words, are not in the right position to take care of the property. Like, for example, Bobby Benson. We know that his property was abandoned for so many years until Lagos State government took over it. Do you think Lagos State government had the right to take over it? Was it Lagos State government or federal government? I don't know. I stand to be corrected. But one of the governments took the property over.
Okay, normally the government has a right to acquire any land in Lagos.
Okay.
I mean, it's the state. The land belongs to the state. But then if it's a private property, fine. But then when the property has been abandoned, it's not of use, and the government deems it fit that maybe this will be good for recreational purpose or be good for the state and all of that, and they pick interest in that property, they can acquire it. Okay. So first thing, I think in relation to our topic, what I would say is for people to understand that there is no specific law that says you must give your property based on gender. I think people need to know that. But a lot of people are scared. Sometimes I see some family members saying, I don't want trouble, please. They just allow them to give it to the man who I don't want to. Maybe they sue her, and then, because definitely a will, you can contest a will. What happened with the owner of Access Bank? They contested the will. If the will is, why did you give to that woman now? And everybody's fighting. They will go to court and all of that. So because some of these women are scared, how would they face a lawsuit if you have a heart for a lawsuit? So I don't want to be in the public, just give them this thing ahead. So that was why I said women need to be courageous. You need to have that mindset to fight and all of that. So everybody needs to know that our constitution does not in any way promote discrimination, gender discrimination. I mean, we even have our laws for it, that you don't give any property based on gender and all of that. So I think that it should stop. So everybody understands legally, you can have your property, make sure you're sharing your property. It doesn't mean, she's a lady, is a man. Just the way Abe said, based on personality. You know the personality of your children and all of that. So which is actually very important.
Oh, Chisom, I think we have to pay you for this. Anyways, thank you so much for making it so clear that, it's not the legal right for a male child to acquire all the properties. It's just the family's decision or the man's decision. Anyway, we've come to the end of today's WIC. This topic is going to be extended to another episode because it's actually a topic we need to really, really clarify. So that's, I don't know, it might be our next episode, same time tomorrow. So join us tomorrow for another episode of WIC. I'm Patricia Ewing.
ITV, certainly the best.
Hello there, I'm Modupe, and thank you for joining us on this brand new episode of You Were There. This is the home of real stories with real change, sponsored by CBN Partners. As always, get ready to be inspired. Behind every great work is a great leader. The work we do here at CBN Africa, from our humanitarian projects to quality life-changing programs, is overseen by the Regional Director of CBN Anglophone West Africa, Dr. Felix Osameje. We got the chance to sit with him and talk about what's next with CBN Africa. And here's what we found out. Take a look.
It is always a pleasure to have you join us on this segment of You Were There. Today, I have the Regional Director, Anglophone West Africa of the Christian Broadcasting Network, is here to give us an update on what has been happening in his region. It is so good to have you, Dr. Felix Osamoji.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, so recently CBN Africa launched a channel, Flame TV, on a new platform.
Yeah.
What should viewers expect from that channel?
We're about content, TV content that is good value for the family, which means every member of the family can watch with the channel without being worried that they are going to see something that is not good for the children or something that is X-rated. So we're about producing family-oriented TV content.
I love the sound of that. It makes me excited.
Anyway, we are excited too.
Yes, yes. I know Operation Blessing basically caters to the need of the less privileged in the society. How is Flame TV positioned to fulfill this vision?
Well, you are aware that because CBN, first of all, being a media ministry, is also concerned about what's going on in the society. And so CBN started this humanitarian arm, which you just referred to, Operation Blessing, to alleviate human suffering. And what we want to do through Flame TV is to take the programs of CBN that it does to meet the needs of the poor in the society and say to people, listen, see what we're doing. So that when they see what we're doing, two things will happen. It's either they'll say, you know what, here are our own contribution to help you do more. Or we'll be happy also if people are challenged by what we do and they decide to begin to do humanitarian work. Because let's be honest, the needs out there are enormous. No organization can do it alone, not even government.
Maybe you should elaborate more on the partnership opportunities therein.
To enumerate areas of opportunities, people can give us money to do boreholes that we do for rural communities. We sponsor cleft lip and cleft palate surgeries for children. We help women, set up small businesses that they can use to cater for their families. We go to rural communities. We do free medical services. Somebody can come and say, you know what, I like what you're doing. Here's money to buy more medicines. Or maybe somebody who owns a pharmacy or a pharmaceutical company can say, you know what, I will donate drugs. Or maybe the person says, you know what, I don't have the drugs to donate. I don't have money to donate, but it's a medical personnel. Can donate time to go to those communities. We also construct clinics for rural communities, especially when those communities are far removed from the closest hospital. We go there, build rural clinics for them. People can also provide funds for those. So areas of opportunities in partnering with CBN is numerous. And what we want to do in Flame TV is to make sure that people get to see these projects in their natural habitats, where we do the projects and how people react to them, how people benefit from them, so that will be enough motivation. So somebody will say, you know what, none of those other things you mentioned earlier, I can't do those, but I can bring you advertisements. Awesome. When we get those adverts, the monies, we plow them into making more programs. And those programs go out to bless people. Some of them, like I said, you get to see what CBN is doing. Some other person could say, you know what, I will sponsor some of the programs, because that's another way to do that. Somebody can sponsor some of the programs. All the programs we do, there's so many of them. Well done. From Living the Lives, 700 Club, You Were There, One Cube, Superbook, Heart to Heart, Spontaneous Worship. Very soon you'll see a new program called Viral Virtue. There are so many others in the works that we're trying to put out there. These things require a lot of money to produce. So if people want to support the production of this content, we'll be very, very glad to work with them.
I will be very glad to have you to support what we do. But lastly, before we go, I know someone is watching and saying, how do I find Flame TV? Where can I get this channel to watch? Maybe you just want to help us with that.
All right, Flame TV can be found on any free-to-air decoder. If you have any free-to-air decoder, if you scan it, if it's already on and you can't find it, just rescan the decoder, you will find Flame TV. Flame TV will be on a TV app called Avo TV. With that app, all you need to do is download the app from any of the Play Store, either the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. If you download the app, you'll be able to watch Flame TV on the go, on your tablet, on your phone, on your laptop. So we're trying to make it easy for people to be able to watch the family-oriented programs that we produce. So those are the areas. And by the way, you can also watch it via the Flame TV website. If you just go to flametv.tv, scroll down, you will see a button that says watch Flame TV. You click on it, you can watch Flame TV from anywhere in the world.
Wow, sounds exciting. I love the part of on the go, so yeah. You don't have to sit in a position to watch it. You can watch it wherever you are.
We're living in a world now where everybody is on the move.
Yeah.
Everybody is looking for money. Everybody is running after, hustling for one thing or the other. Yeah. We want people to still be able to watch the content because in a world today where there's so much hopelessness, we want to inspire people to look beyond the hopelessness around them and look towards hope that God provides every day. So download that app if you haven't already and watch out for Flame TV. We are just a button away from you.
We've got hope coming to you right where you are. In a world filled with so much pain and brokenness, Flame TV is turning on the lights. So goodbye despair, welcome inspiration. And like I said, Flame TV is just a button away. So get clicking and get fired up. The woman in our next story is one of the people trying to bring hope to the world. After seeing the poor living conditions of women and youth in her community, she knew she had to do something. Here's how you partnered with her to make a difference in Haipang. Watch this.
After my primary school, my parents told me they had no money to further my education.
I'm just at home, doing nothing.
This desperate plea stirred up compassion in the heart of one woman. Juliet knew she had to do something to change their living condition. As a result, Garland Foundation was born. Situated in Haipang, Barikin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State, Garland Foundation provides a platform where struggling women and youths could be empowered through skills acquisition.
These women have a lot of challenges, but in spite of their situations, they're able to make at times sit and even learn what's going on at the center.
But she did not have the space and equipment to take in a lot of the women in need of help. While she hoped for a break, she continued in her act of kindness. Garland Foundation decided to reach out to charity organizations with the dresses they had made from patched pieces.
The event, which was a charity sales, was very successful. 8 of them had produced, about 1,600 pieces of clothes, all from patched pieces. It was at that event that we came in contact with CBN Africa, and we told them what our immediate need was then. So they promised they were going to do something about it, and of course they kept their promise.
The seed of a promise had blossomed into something beautiful. It was a warm welcome for members of Operation Blessing team. Dr. Felix Osamoje, the regional director of CBN Anglophone West Africa, addressed the people.
So we come in with them, we partner with them to help them upscale.
CBN actually gave us funds to buy equipment and then to furnish our center.
A few months later, Garland Foundation had trained over 25 women who had also established their own businesses.
They have a year course, and that course is giving them an opportunity to support their families.
Before, I'm just like a liability at home. But now, when they are calling people, come and show us what you can do, at least I may come out. I have to say a big thank you to CBN and also Auntie Judith. We are very grateful to her.
I've told myself that
if I learn this work and I know it, I can like train some people that they want to learn it.
I'm so happy. I'm excited. I mean, you know, this is just a dream come true. 2 years ago, we didn't think we'll have a place like this. And so this has only encouraged me to even have bigger dreams. I want to say a very, very big thank you to CBN Africa. They're doing fantastic things, you know, so I'm grateful to them.
Those women can now care for their families and contribute to their communities, all thanks to the Guy Foundation and CBN's Operation Blessing. Thank you for changing their lives. Coming up after the break, the story of an abused woman who finds an unexpected lifeline. Don't go away.
I saw the faces of the people in that community. You could see sheer joy. When I see those pictures and I see what CBN is doing to alleviate the pain and the sufferings of those people, I cannot but thank God that my little support is helping to meet somebody and take them out of pain, to take them out of sickness, take them out of poverty, feed them. And amazingly, it's not about how much, no matter how little it is, just give it. Join CBN today and be a partner.
At the tender age of 13, Hadija was forced to marry against her will.
My husband was very abusive. I went back to my parents and told them I couldn't stay because he beat me often. I have scars from what his abuse did to me. They told me to be patient and to persevere, that he would change. I endured the pain until it was just too much to bear. One day, I was in our house and something kept telling me to get up and go. I couldn't resist the voice. I stood up, walked away, and came to a home of a Christian lady. She opened her door to me and introduced me to her pastor. They prayed with me and led me to Christ. With my husband being a Muslim, I knew I wouldn't survive going back after I became a Christian.
A pastor connected her with Christian Faith Ministries, which is partly supported by CBN's Orphans Promise. Now, 18-year-old Hadija and her daughter stay in our crisis care home. They have everything they need to grow and prosper.
Before coming here, I felt so lost. You opened your arms to me and helped me heal. This is a family and this is our home. Through your Christian discipleship program, you've helped me grow in my relationship with God. I talk with Him and He answers me. Everything in me is happy because of Jesus.
Many different vocational programs are offered here. Hadija enrolled in sewing classes.
I make dresses for myself and my daughter. Sometimes she'll sit on my lap and it's like we are doing it together. It's so exciting to say I made this.
Both of them also attend school here.
It's an indescribable joy learning to read and write in English. It's like magic. My world has changed completely. In Nigeria, a lot of young girls are given as child brides against their will. Sometimes I wonder why God saved me and gave me this place of refuge. I want to become a lawyer so I can help young girls and give them a future. I'm amazed at how much mercy and grace I have been blessed with here. Thank you for your kindness and heart for God. May God give you the grace and strength to keep doing His good work. May He continue to open doors for you to help others, and may your blessings never end.
Khadija's life is completely changed. Thank you, CBN partners. Can you imagine the struggles she had to go through at such a vulnerable age? The dangers, the insecurity, the lack. Thank God she doesn't have to go through all that anymore. She can now look past the devastating experience towards a future where she can provide for herself and her child. God bless you, CBN partners, for bringing life and hope to so many people around the world. How do you feel watching these stories of transformation? What's going through your mind right now? So many women got a chance at a brighter future because someone like you chose to give to make it possible. Would you like to give many others in desperate need the same opportunity? then partner with us. With as little as 2,500 Naira or more monthly, you can make a difference around the world. If your answer is yes, please sign up on our website, or you can call or send us an SMS using the numbers on your screen right now. Thank you for choosing to change lives with us. Sarah made that same decision years ago and shares her experience as a CBN partner right after this.
Have you ever dared to do something
when it is poured out in the service of others? I love that. Sarah found joy and satisfaction in living her life, not just for herself, but for others. Thank you for that beautiful story, Sarah, and thank you for committing to transform individuals and whole communities.
I saw a lady, she was crying. Some person snatched her bags from her. She just need only 300 Naira to go home. So I was like, okay, I have 300 Naira with me. I will give you the 200. Then we can look for 100 Naira together to give to you.
I greeted someone and it was like, I'm hungry. I said, you're hungry? He said, yes. I said, okay. I dived, I took my hand into my pocket, brought out 300 Naira. I gave him 100 Naira and I kept 200 to myself. I collected the 100 Naira and I said, take this 200 Naira.
I think I've trained like 3 different persons. I met strangers that asked me for alms giving, for money, and I ended up training them in web development, and today they are doing well.
Somebody called me and asked that I offer her accommodation, and I think I accommodated her for a week.
Without love, you cannot even absorb the fact that these people are in dire need.
If you want to help, you should not think of if she's using it as a business or something. Just help out of love, compassion. For me, helping people is something that makes me happy. I grew up helping a lot of people, and currently, someone very dear to me is also helping me. So you see, I would definitely want to pass out that love wherever I go to.
Just helping them lift their load. Maybe just conversation helps out a lot. So it mustn't be just giving out your money, but helping that person one way or the other. You are lifting a burden from the person's heart.
People helping people, that's what it's all about. When you help someone in their time of need, they can pay it forward by helping someone else. And as the saying goes, when you help somebody, you help everybody. Now that's how to change the world. Coming right up, comments from our own. Brings us to the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed it and were inspired by the stories. Remember, when you help somebody, you help everybody. So don't hesitate to lend a helping hand to someone who needs it.
ITV, certainly the best.
Hello everyone, welcome on board the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. And this is wishing you Merry Christmas in arrears and of course Happy New Year 2026. Well, we made it and we're grateful to God. What matters the most is the year just begun, and the question is, what are you going to turn 2026 into in terms of accomplishments, in terms of achievements, in terms of your goals, your objectives, and all of that? The responsibility is on you, the onus is on you. But here at ITV Radio, we'll continue to serve you and update you, inform you, entertain you, and equip you so you can function at the very best, at optimum level in terms of achieving your dreams and aspirations for the year 2026. I'm Sonny Duke Okosun, as always. Welcome on board the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Let's begin the show by looking at some of the trending political story. One of them is our major focus on the first edition of Politics Today in the year 2026. We'll begin with the defection of Peter Obi, who was the Labour Party presidential candidate in the last general election, who has officially defected from the LP, Labour Party, to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Mr. Obi announced the decision on Wednesday during a political rally at the Nike Lake Resort Hotel in Enugu State. The former governor joined the ADC alongside his LP supporters and politicians from other political parties. Mr. Obi argued that he was only formalizing his membership of the ADC rather than defecting to the party because he had been part of the conversations to form the opposition coalition group that adopted ADC as its platform for the 2027 general elections. Reactions have been trailing this defection of Mr. Peter Obi from LP to the ADC, and there's so much more to talk about as we make progress in the course of the program this lovely Saturday morning. Okay, let's move on to our next story. We're following some of the political trends we're following at this time. Well, Rivers State will always be in the news anytime, every day, and it looks like the end to Rivers State being in the news is not just inside. We're going to see more of that dominance of Rivers State in the political conversation, political communication in the days, weeks, and months to come in the run-up and build-up to the 2027 general elections. And amidst the growing political tension, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has gone spiritual with the assurance that the state cannot go into another round of political war. Fubara expressed optimism that the 2026 will usher in an improved fortunes for Rivers State and its residents, assuring that his administration is entering the new year with renewed strength and confidence. Governor Fubara gave the assurance in his New Year message delivered shortly after the crossover service at the Government House Chapel of Everlasting Grace, Port Harcourt. Reflecting on the past 2 years of his administration, the governor said the period had been challenging, but noted that his government is stepping into the new year with hope and faith. He declared that his reliance is not on the instrument of war, but on prayer, stressing that those who place their trust in God will not be put to shame. He urged residents of the state to remain calm and unperturbed by the unsettling ripostes of war, assuring them that his administration remains focused on advancing the interests of Rivers State. He acknowledged that some expectations had been met in the course of the last 2 years, but maintained that the state would experience progress and development in the new year. I hope so. A lot of fingers are crossed about some of the expectations from Governor Siminalayi Fubara, against the background that his right-hand man or former right-hand man, his political godfather, the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, is still spoiling for war. And some say that's because of the governor's refusal to put together a supplementary budget, which Wike's camp had proposed. But Fubara is saying when he was sent on emergency vacation by Mr. President as a result of the emergency rule, he left in the coffers of Rivers State about 300 billion naira. By the time the emergency rule was suspended and he came back, or the emergency rule elapsed and he came back, he met 600 billion naira in the account. And he felt that there's enough money to run the later part of 2025 to completion, and there was no need for supplementary budget. And that infuriated the strongman of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and his loyalists, and some of the issues started coming forth. How all of that will materialize is a matter of time. Okay, let's quickly take you to Rivers State, to Plateau State, where the Plateau State Governor, Caleb Mutfwang, has formally joined the All Progressive Congress, APC, after resigning from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Mr. Mutfwang received his APC membership card on Friday at a stakeholders meeting in Jos, the Plateau State capital, marking a major shift in the state's political alignment. The governor said his decision to defect was driven by the need for purposeful leadership and clarity of direction, as well as the desire to align Plateau State closely with the policies and programs of the federal government to accelerate development and improve service delivery. Well, those are some of the stories we are following at the moment. With Mutfwang joining the APC, you wonder who is now left in the PDP. Big question we may find some answers to in the course of the program. But let's take a short break to bring in our guest. John Yakubu is a PDP chieftain, public affairs analyst, businessman, will be joining us live in the studio. We've got Chief Daniel Matthew Akwamonka, Labour Party chieftain, joining us virtually from UK, and the ADC publicity secretary in Edo State, Christopher Ojekere, is also joining us virtually from Benin City. Please stay with us. We'll be back with you in just a moment. Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program Politics Today, and it's coming to you live on independent television and radio, and that makes it a simulcast. Let's welcome our panelist. John Eyiwachama Yakubu is a former chairman of Eastern Northeast Local Government Council, former PDP deputy governorship candidate in the state, former senatorial aspirant of the PDP. Chief John Yakubu, thank you for joining. I just added something now.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year.
But please, let's quickly correct that.
Okay.
I'm not
that's on the lighter side.
Okay.
Okay, it's still Politics Today. Let's meet Chief Daniel Matthew Akwamonka is joining us from UK. Chief, thank you for joining us on the program.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I'm very fortunate. That is the honorable you just introduced my brother. The same formation notice to Omi Ababa.
All right.
Thank you.
Christopher Ojekere is the ADC publicity scribe in Edo State, is joining us also virtually from Benin City. Chris, good to have you on the program. Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you, Sonny, for having me. Happy New Year to you and to my big brothers there in the studio.
Okay, John, let's get started.
Thank you.
Peter Obi has been a reference point, particularly from the last general election, with a huge followership and all of that. When the ADC came on board as a coalition platform, he was there. At the time, he said, well, he just went there because of the interaction and all of that. He wasn't moving, and but we saw speculations coming in the closing part of 2025 that on the last day of 2025, December 2025, Peter Obi and a host of other leaders in the Labour Party were going to join the ADC, and true to words, he moved eventually, saying he wanted to close 2025 with the Labour Party and start on a new journey in 2026 with a new platform as part of the structures and strategies to form that broader coalition to wrestle power from the APC led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And reaction has started coming forth. But what do you make of this movement?
Well, like you started at the beginning, you mentioned that Obi is a reference point. He will continue to be a reference point because the gospel of Saint Obi, I'll call him Saint Gregory Obi, is completely different from the gospel of every other politician. in Nigeria. It is for that reason, that singular reason, that a lot of persons continue to discuss Obi even before he joined the ADC. I'm sure that Obi would not have moved from Labour to ADC, because what Obi is saying, what Obi is discussing with Nigerians, you discover that since the movement of Obi about 4 or 5 days ago, there have been a lot of concern, even from the ruling political party, even from my great party, the PDP, because everybody is concerned, because Obi movement from where he is to a different place entirely means that the political atmosphere is going to change. A lot of persons in Nigeria, outside the ruling government, outside the people in government today, are all discussing Obi, because Obi gospel of productivity, of prosperity for the people is completely different from what we have. Because what we've been practicing, or what we are still practicing today, which Obi is against, is the consumption of the seed provided by God for this nation. And in our local parlance, any farmer that consumes his seed there, that it is easier. You know, I don't know whether you are practicing farming or not, seed yam are very delicious, very sweet. But for any farmer to consume his seed, it means that farmer will die of hunger.
We don't have a harvest.
Not even nothing to plant. So you will not be talking of having a harvest since you have not planted. What Obi is saying that what God has provided for us as a nation, we have to plant it so that the generation yet to come can begin to harvest. That is the difference between Obi and every other politician in Nigeria. Until that is done, I'm not here to cast aspersion on the ruling government or cast aspersion on my party, but what Obi is saying is completely different from what every other politician is saying in Nigeria. That is why you see that the followership is huge. That is why that you see that people are saying that where Obi go is where they will go. Labour was not so strong before the coming of Obi, and you will now discover what will happen to Labour. A lot of people gravitated towards Labour, not because, or a lot of persons voted for Labour candidate from the Senate to the House of Rep, not because of any other person, but because of Obi. But you discover that some of those persons, immediately they got to the House, rather than listening to the gospel of Obi from Genesis to Revelation, what they did was not only to the camp, to change that mindset. I think what Obi is telling us as a people is that let's sit down. We are provided for by God all the things necessary to build a nation. Until we sit down to begin to think of how to build this nation, we will not progress as a nation. We cannot be a consuming nation and expect the economy to grow. We cannot be empowering Toyota and very other mighty companies overseas, and we expect this country to go. Let me tell you this. The coming of Obasanjo, if you remember very well, when Obasanjo came in as a military president, he discovered that the economy was not as buoyant as it ought to be. What did he do? He said, in his first decree, that every other person, including himself as the president and the head of state of this nation, should drive a 504. And that was what happened during the time of Obasanjo, and he came up with this Operation Feed the Nation, and he led us to the farm. At that point, the economy started growing to a point that when any other government cannot come in and started thinking of what to do with what we have. But what do we have today? We consume all what we have rather than planting it for the future to come. Okay. So Obi is not just a politician. Obi is not just moving from Labour to ADC. Obi is a movement.
Okay, I'll come back to you in just a moment. But let me take you go to the UK, where Chief Daniel Matthew Okonoka is standing by. Chief, talk to me about the difference between Obi's movement and the regular movement that we have seen. In the last few months, we have seen defections from left, right, back, center. John made some comments saying this movement is, Obi's defection is a movement. But if you look at Obi's trajectory, he started out with APGA. From APGA, he moved to the PDP. From the PDP, he moved to Labour Party. From Labour Party, he's now in ADC. You never can tell, maybe it may be in APC tomorrow. This is the pattern of the average Nigerian politicians. And even if you look at the ADC, many of the people that you're seeing there today, they follow this same pattern. So what is so special, so unique about this movement that has kept tongues wagging, even though we have a faction of the ADC led by Nafiu Bala Gombe, the factional chairman, saying that the defection to ADC is null and void because the procedure was not followed. The party's constitution was not followed. Let me get your take on this.
Well, first of all, I want to say, from speaking from the Labour perspective, it really pains the heart to see His Excellency Peter Obi leaving Labour Party to any other party. And we must commend Peter Obi, because Peter Obi energized a lot of people, the youth, those who are different, who are not really interested in politics, to come into politics, to take politics and governance seriously. Peter Obi also motivated a lot of people to run that would not have had the opportunity to run, and some of them did win their seats. So we must give him credit. I personally felt like whatever the situation he had with Labour Party was resolvable. It did not need to leave the party to go and join ADC. So what is unique about this? Really nothing unique. But the only question for me, even though I love Peter Obi and I have no personal grudge against him leaving Labour Party, I will still remain faithful to the party, is that it's where he's going to join. Like they say, my mom used to say, as well, and this is a common phrase, show me your friends, I will tell you who you are. Peter Obi is now joining with El-Rufai in ADC, who will know who he is, what he has said with his own mouth. Peter Obi, who 2015, how the country to help to destabilize the government, and how he destroyed Kaduna and allowed Kaduna Christian to almost be wiped out. That's who El-Rufai is. And again, talking about Atiku, Atiku is another man that during his time as a vice president, he liquidated all the federal government assets, sold it to a friend. Even 2019, 2023, when he ran, he said he will even do more. That we see it failed in all aspects. Rotimi Amici, his greatest success of 8 years as a minister was to build the biggest railway station in Niger Republic. Those are the people he's going to associate with, even though he's a credible man, an upright man. But show me your friends. So I will not begrudge him from leaving Labour Party, but Labour Party is a party that have an